In this video I'm going to show you how to scale up drawings, and you will need a ruler and a sharp pencil, although I end up using pen just because it shows up in camera a little bit better. We start off by drawing a tight box around our small drawing, in this case a PlayStation logo. And our plan is to take this small logo and make it twice the size. So I've noted the dimensions of the small tight box, 70 by 55, and beside it I'm drawing a box with double those dimensions, 140 by 110. Next, on our small box we start drawing some columns, and these columns are 10 millimeters apart on the small box, so in our double scale box those become 20 millimeters apart. And again we mark that out and we draw the columns in. This is the start of a grid that we're going to use for the rest of this tutorial video. We will do the same now with rows. We'll measure out some 10mm rows and draw them in the small box and transfer that 10mm size into 20mm rows in the larger box. And don't worry about that little funny stripe at the bottom, that'll all work itself out later as well. So we've got two grids drawn here, a small one tightly wrapping around our small drawing, and a larger one into which we're going to draw the double size version of the PlayStation logo. Now what I'm doing here is I'm using first of all very light pen strokes, although I would like them to be lighter, but we had to lean a little hard so that the camera can pick it up. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at the small logo and I'm noticing where the lines in the small logo cross the small grid lines. And I'm finding those exact same points in the grid of the larger version that we drew. And that's really all we're doing. It just becomes a kind of dot to dot then. I look at the small logo and I ask myself, right, where is that line starting off? Whereabouts in the grid square is it? What grid lines does it cross over? And I try and find the exact same grid lines on the larger grid and mark those positions in. And then I go around marking those dots, marking those crossovers, those intersection points, and as lightly as I can I try and find and sketch out a larger version of the PlayStation logo. And so it continues. We've done the capital P, now we're doing the S, which is lying on the floor. And again, it just really becomes dot to dot, looking at where those curves cross over the grid lines. The final stage that we go through is we take our pen or pencil and we darken up the lines that we want to keep, thus turning all those light construction lines into nice, crisp, heavy outlines and making the drawing a whole lot more readable.